Okay, next we have area and perimeter intermediate. So let's see what we've got here. Bobby is painting a figure on a banner for a homecoming parade. The figure he's painting consists of an isosceles triangle, a rectangle, and a semicircle. What's the total area rounded to the nearest tenth? Well, first thing is we know we're going to need the area of a triangle. So I'm going to write that down here, equals. We're going to need the area of a rectangle. And we're definitely going to need the area of a semicircle. So that might be a little bit more interesting. Then we're going to add them all together to get the final area. When you have shapes that are next to each other or basically taped together, you have to add. When you have shapes that are on top of each other, which you might see in the advanced section, then you have to sometimes subtract. So let's take a look. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my area formula for a triangle, 1/2 base times height. And my base is going to be that bottom length right here. And if you look at that, that is a length of 8. So I'll go ahead and put that in. Then I'm going to have to get my height, which I'm not sure if we expected this to be quite as difficult as it's going to be, but there you go. It's going to be right there. So to find my height, believe it or not, I'm going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem. So to do that, let me look back. I'm going to go down another line. Hold on. I'm going to have to use my hypotenuse squared, which is 5 squared. And I'm going to have to subtract my leg squared, which is 4, to get 9. Then I have to take the square root of that 9 to get my height, which is 3. I think this might have been on the more advanced side rather than intermediate, but we've got the area of a triangle right there, and it is 12. Now, the area of a rectangle is going to be a lot easier. We've got length times width. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all this. My length times the width. And to tell you what that is, the length is 10. You can see it right there. And the width of that rectangle is 8, which you can see 8 to the right. So that's going to be 80. And then finally, we need the area of a semicircle. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to do 1/2 times the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. If you wanted the area of a whole circle, it would be pi r squared. But if you want the area of half a circle, of a semicircle, you just multiply it by 1/2. So the only thing we have to figure out is our radius. So we know this entire length is 8, so my radius is 4. So that would be approximately 25. So now I'm going to clear this and I'm going to add all 3 up. I've got 12 plus 80 plus 25. And that gives me a total area of 117 feet squared. Okay, you might have to look at that one a couple of times. I'm going to go ahead and write down how I found this over here to be 3. I took the hypotenuse squared, subtracted my leg squared, got 9, and then of course I had to take the square root of 9, which gave me 3. That's how I found that. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, here we want to know what is the total perimeter of this figure. So this time we're going to work a little bit differently. We know that this is 5, and we know that this is 5. So this was the height. As a matter of fact, I should have just used that instead of finding the height in the last problem. So I apologize about that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go back and correct it. I did find the height right here, the 3 using P theorem, but I didn't notice it was actually given to me. So it wasn't as hard as I made it. Sorry, everybody. So far I've got 5 plus 5. So 5 plus 5, that's both sides of the triangle. Then I'm going to add 10 plus 10, that's both long sides of the rectangle. And then I'm going to have to find the circumference of a semicircle. So circumference is 2 pi r, but if I only want half of it, I have to put a half in front of it. So I'm going to go ahead and come down here and do that first. 1/2, okay, times 2 times pi times r, and I'm going to have to figure out what r is. Well, if this entire length here is 8, then I just have to divide it by 2 to find my r. So r equals, and I'm going to go ahead and put 8 divided by 2, which gives me 4. So that means the circumference of half that circle is 12.6. So I'm going to come right back up here and add 12.6. I've got both sides of the triangle, both sides of the rectangle, and then the circumference of the semicircle. So my answer is 42.6 feet. That is my perimeter of this figure, because you only want the sides on the outside. You don't want anything on the inside to be added together, just the outsides. Okay? All right, let's see what's up next. Okay, find the perimeter of this figure. Again, we've got all of the sides given except for one, actually 2. This one here, you would do 9 minus 2, which is 7. But now we've added on a semicircle. So we need the circumference of that semicircle. So the first thing I'm going to do is put all my numbers in. 4 plus 9 plus 10 plus 6 plus 7. Then I'm going to save that last spot for the circumference. Circumference of a semicircle, again, is going to be 1/2, okay, times 2 pi r. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the next line and figure out what my radius is. If this entire side here is 2, I know that if I take 2 and divide it by 2, it will give me my radius of 1, which gives me a semi-circumference of 3.1. So that means my perimeter of this entire figure is 39.1 centimeters. And that would be my perimeter. So I had to make sure not to add that 2 because it wasn't on the outside, and I had to find the circumference of that semicircle. We also had to find that 7 that was missing. All right, that's perimeter. Okay, now we want to find the area of this. Well, we're lucky because I think we've already found at least the area of part of this. So let's do this first rectangle here. Length times width, which is 9 times 4. Okay, and 9 times 4 is 36. Then this smaller rectangle at the bottom is 6 times 2. Length times width, which is 6 times 2, which is 12. And then all we have left is the area of a semicircle. So, again, to do the semicircle, you have to start with 1/2. And the area of a circle is pi r squared. So let's go ahead and figure out what that radius is. The radius is going to be half of that 2. So let's do 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So the area of that semicircle is 1.6. So we're going to put it right there. And then we're just going to add them all together. And we'll have the area. So we've got 36 plus 12, oops, didn't mean to hit that, plus 1.6. So that means it is 49.6 centimeters squared. And that is the area of the entire composite figure. 2 rectangles and a semicircle. All right. Okay, we're on to advanced in our next video.